Hey YouTube, and welcome to my channel. Plot twist. Yeah, you guys are probably thinking, what am I doing? Italy versus Jamaica instead of Italy versus USA. Well, in my recommended feed, I've been seeing a lot of Jamaica versus America, Jamaica versus Canada, Jamaica versus the entire continent of Africa. And I was like, hey, but there isn't a Jamaica versus Italy. So for today, I'm gonna take a break from talking to you guys about the differences between Italy versus USA and talk to you guys about the surprising amount of similarities between Jamaica and Italy. The first similarity that you guys probably wouldn't know exists is food. Italians and Jamaicans both are very, very proud of their national cuisine. They think their national cuisine is better than everybody else's, and they love insulting American food. What is American food? Italian food spans thousands and thousands and thousands of years, and it's very widely renowned, it's very dispersed, and it's very respected around the world. Jamaican food doesn't have the advantage of saying, oh, we have thousands and thousands of years of food to talk about, but Jamaica had a lot of different waves of immigrations, from the African slaves to the people coming from the other British colonies to settle the island, such as China and India. Jamaicans were able to take the different influences and take the different ingredients they had around in Jamaica and come up with this pretty completely new cuisine. Like anybody can tell you, Jamaicans are known around the world for their curry chicken and curry goat, but if you eat curry chicken and curry goat from Jamaica, it is completely different from Indian curry, where the influence comes from. And Jamaicans have, jerk chicken, jerk pork, rice and peas, ackee and banana, plantain, saltfish. The list really, really goes on. And I was surprised that, we're really big on saltfish in Jamaican cuisine, and Italians eat saltfish too. It's called stoccafisso. Stoccafisso, when you guys are eating stoccafisso on Christmas Eve in Italy, know that in Jamaica we eat that too. It's just cooked a little bit differently, so it doesn't exactly smell like that, and the consistency is a little bit different, but it's saltfish. But yeah, it was really funny to me moving to Italy and seeing them be like, oh, my food is better than everybody else's food, because that's exactly how Jamaicans are. And since I grew up in a Jamaican household and I grew up thinking, well, Jamaican food is better than everybody else's food, it was funny to come to a place where they thought their food was better than everybody else's food. Probably every country thinks that their food is better than everybody else's food, except for America, because we acknowledge the fact that our foods are like all derivatives, and we eat a little bit of like food that has influences from everywhere. And I mean, the difference between American pasta and Italian pasta isn't like the difference between curry chicken in Jamaica and curry whatever in India. There's a huge difference between curry used in Jamaican cuisine and pasta used in American cuisine. Pasta used in American cuisine is pretty much the same as pasta in Italy, but maybe they cook it a little bit different. Like maybe they don't cook it al dente, but they overcook it. But that's a different story for a different day. So it was very interesting to come and see that. And yeah, both of them love making fun of American food. Italians love to call American food schifezze, and Jamaicans would typically respond to American food with menaida. Immigration. Jamaicans and Italians immigrate everywhere. You can find Jamaicans and Italians on every single continent, y'all. And it's so funny because I don't know so many Jamaicans living in Italy. I know like kids of Jamaicans like me that live in Italy, but I don't know any like Jamaican community in Italy. You don't find Jamaican food stores in Italy. And the same thing with Italians in Jamaica. Like I've heard of some, like 2 Italian artists that moved to Jamaica because they liked reggae and they lived there now. But like there's not really an Italian community in Jamaica like there is a Chinese Jamaican community, there's an Indian Jamaican community, there's a Spanish Jamaican community, there's a British Jamaican community. There's so many different communities in Jamaica, but not Italian. Kind of related to the fact that they immigrate everywhere is that they have such a big influence on the cultures that they come in contact with, whether it be in food, whether it be in the arts. I can think of so many actors off of the top of my head that come from Italian descent, and half the songs you listen to on American radio are literally samples and remixes of Jamaican dancehall music. So yeah, they both influence the countries that they go to a lot. The Italian influence in America is like huge, and I thought the Jamaican influence in America was pretty big, but that was until I came in contact with people from other Anglo-Saxon countries. Like my friend from Canada, he's always spitting out patois, and I'm like, where did you learn that from? And apparently patois is really big in Canadian slang. And when I went to London, everywhere I went, let's just say that Black British culture is pretty much just a mixture of Jamaican and Nigerian culture in Britain. And it's like, that's not to diminish all the other black cultures that are in Britain, but those were the biggest influences I saw, and probably because Jamaica and Nigeria were England's biggest black colonies. And so yeah, when I went there, I was seeing advertisements for Jamaican movies in London, and I was like, wow. They both have a really weird relationship with religion. Like, religion plays a huge role in like Italian society, and if we're looking at laws and we're looking at customs, things in Italy are very, very traditional and very, very based in religion. Okay, Italians may not be practicing Catholics like 100%, but if you look at society as a whole, you can see the religion aspect of it. And that's the same thing in Jamaica. Religion is such a huge aspect in Jamaican culture. I tell you guys, when I first moved to America, well, no, I was born in America, but I was born in America, but I moved to Jamaica when I was 8 to live with my grandma for like 2 or 3 years, and I started school in Jamaica, and then when I was like 4, I moved back to America with my mom. And when we first lived in America, my mom was so Jamaican. Over the years, over 20 years, she's gotten really Americanized, and she's not as strict with my younger brothers and sisters as she was with me. But one of my earliest memories was that I wasn't allowed to celebrate Halloween when I was a kid, when I was really, really young. I remember the first Halloween I can remember consisted of me, my mom, my grandma, my little brother sitting in the house in the dark pretending we weren't home because we weren't allowed to celebrate Halloween because it was the devil's holiday. Like, I mean, I think that's a bit extreme. I don't think an Italian American would do that, but that's just to show you like how big religion is in Jamaican culture. Even if my family isn't like super religious, it's hard to explain. If you look in Jamaican culture, sex is really, really, really huge in Jamaican culture. To watch a Jamaican movie, listen to Jamaican music, you'll see so much sex. And yet, at the same time, they're supposed to be like the purest, most religious country. And same thing with Italy. Italy has a lot of influence with the Pope. There's like a lot of religious influences in Italy, but they bestemmiare, they say blasphemies. Did I say it right this time? They say blasphemies so much that you'd be surprised they're supposed to be religious. I see large similarities with two family figures in the Jamaican and Italian culture, and that is the grandma and the man. First of all, the grandmas in Jamaica and Italy, they first of all know everything about everybody's business. They're always like looking out at a balcony or standing outside, like just chilling. They know everything about everyone. They love to gossip. I don't know if this is like just what grandmas do, but I never got the impression that the typical American grandma did that, you know? And they're always talking ish about people that can't understand them. Like in Italy, when I'm sitting on the metro in Milan, the Milanese grandmas will be talking with this really this really like thick Milanese accent, talking about like immigrants and young people. And I don't know, a lot of time they speak in dialect, so I don't understand everything, but I still get the gist because it's just like, I get it. And I don't know, they'll just go on and on and on talking ish with their other little friendly grandmas. And Jamaicans do it the same. My grandma knows everything about everyone, and she talks a lot of ish about everyone. She talks a lot of ish. When I was in London, I remember me and Liz were on the bus going home, and there were these two Jamaican ladies behind me, and they were just talking in patois about how one person's son married, and it was just like, it reminded me of my grandma. And I was like, oh. And then the men. Jamaican men and Italian men are kind of known around the world to be like really dreamy, and everybody wants one, and they also both have this really big reputation of being cheaters. Both Jamaicans and Italians love being hosts. Like, they're such awesome hosts. If you need help from a Jamaican or an Italian, they will help you. My grandma is pretty much known in her neighborhood as Miss Bailey, and whenever she cooks for the whole neighborhood. And there will be people like lined out outside of her house, and she'll cook for all of them and feed them all. And like even during the last elections, when people were waiting outside, she had like a polling center near her house, and people were waiting outside for hours and hours, and they asked her if they could use her bathroom, and like she said yes, of course, because of course you can use her bathroom. And like she said, they left her bathroom so clean and so nice, and it's because everybody knows her and everybody respects her. And it's just because, you know, Jamaicans are very hospitable. And then at the same time, both Jamaicans and Italians, even while they're so hospitable, there's just this common mistrust amongst the group. Like, Jamaicans will always talk about how shady other Jamaicans are, how they can't trust other Jamaicans, how other Jamaicans are terrible. And, you know, Italians do the exact same thing. Italians are always talking about how terrible Italians are, even though from an outsider's perspective, I think they're both so warm and welcoming. But anyways, yeah, these are my similarities between Jamaica and Italy. What do you guys think? Do you agree with me? Do you disagree? Let me know in the comments below. I would have never thought that the two would be so similar. You Jamaicans, you should look out and try to make a friend with an Italian, and vice versa. Italians do the same, because take it from me and Enrico, you guys might just get along pretty nicely. I hope you guys like this video. Like and subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you guys in my next one. Mwah.